Yeah, let's say it. Skull Vikings. Okay, yeah, no, they did get kind of lucky today. I mean, to be fair, they did play the better game. I don't know. Vikes win. Woo! All right, anyway. Welcome back, everybody, to the Sunday special. Coming in a little late because of that Vikings game, which gave every Vikings fan a heart attack, as they do every single week. But, nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into it today. Our Sunday special, is going to consist of, I gotta count the amount of cars, 3, 6, 9, 10, 13. 13 total cars. And what these cars are crown jewel wins from the Brickyard. So, we're taking a look at every Brickyard win in my collection. That does not include the road course, as it has not come out yet, and it does not include anything I don't have personally. So, I think I have most of them, all but maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, I can't remember. But anyway, we're going to go through it. I'm going to start at the earliest and go to the latest, and then I'm going to tell you which one's my favorite, which ones are, not my favorite, but they're all great. So, anyway, let's get into it. Today's video is sponsored by nobody. I'm independent. All right. First one on the list. The oldest one I have in my collection. We're going to get into this. This is going to be awesome. The very first one on this list is the very first Brickyard 400. This is Jeff Gordon's. The first Brickyard 400 win. And this has been customized a little bit. You can see we've got Butler seat, a little logo in there. We got the seat belts in there. You can actually see there's a helmet hanging down from a helmet hanger in there. You also have the wreath on the front here. Steering wheel is up here in the dash. Kind of hard to see. You can see right there. There's the steering wheel and the dash there. But this has been completely customized. Window net is down. The tire marks, those are part of the car. The car came out like this, window net up and just that design. This stuff has been added. The antenna over here, all of it, and it looks amazing. I did not get a box with this. This came with all those other Jeff Gordon customs, but this one, absolutely gorgeous. I obviously was not alive to see the first one, but that being said, I mean, what else is there to say? The thing looks absolutely gorgeous. It's got great detail. It looks fantastic on all fronts. The interior detail, as I said before, very, very cool. You can look through the right side a little bit, see that helmet again, but kind of hard to see. But again, a very good-looking car. Overall, the history of this car is probably the coolest part. As I said, I may have been alive, but I wasn't by much when they ran the first one. And so I don't remember it from that aspect, but this is a very historical car, so I really like having it. But that's my oldest one in my collection, naturally, being it's the first. But the next one in that is going to be 10 years later, the 2004 Brickyard 400 win, also Jeff Gordon. As you can see, there has been some added design to this one to make it look more accurate because they didn't put the tape on the front or on this front grille area. So if you look at the one that ran on track, it actually looked closer to this than what the original diecast did. This isn't actually an elite version, so you see it has Brickyard 04. As I said, where I got all my Gordon cars, they were personally customized, and I love it. Here you can see the dash is pushed back a little bit too far. So that's actually kind of noticeable, but outside of that, it's like you got a windshield banner. You can see the rubber specs on the windshield. That's all custom. The sun visor there. We can see the marks over here. Those are part of the car. Then on the right rear, you can see a little bit there. It is also lowered, so you see the rear suspension doesn't work. It's because it's been lowered. So it actually should be taller, but it's not. You can see the tailpipes are black. Go around to the back. I think that's a chip. Yeah, we got a chip right there in the bumper. As I said, they all ship with no boxes. So you can see the tethers. Well, what used to be the tethers in the brace, but they're not in there right now. What am I hitting here? Come on, let me fold the trunk down. It's not wanting to fold the trunk. There we go. It was literally the brace was poking and getting stuck. You see the tire detail on this side. This one actually does have a little bit of movement in it. But you see it does sit nice and low. Number 24, all that stuff. But yeah, the detail on the front is really the key on this one. But the 2004 Jeff Gordon version, good. Obviously, the 94, in my opinion, is better, more historical. But still, Jeff Gordon would win a bunch of these things. So, we're gonna see him again. The next one on this list is 2005, the very next season, and this is going to be Tony Stewart's 2005. This one was huge. He's the Indiana native, and him winning this race was a very big deal. He had already won a championship, and to be able to come to his home track, the biggest, most prestigious speedway in America, and win the race was absolutely huge. And to go along with that, I do have the Brickyard 400 pin from 2005, so I have that to go with it as well. And it's a very cool Elite. I had this in ARC a while back, decided I was going to wait and get an Elite. Very happy with it. It looks absolutely spectacular. there's just something about the basic orange Home Depot car, and it winning at Indy was, not a one-time deal. We'll just say that much. The other thing I didn't mention about the car right before this one was I do actually have the pin from the 2004 version of this. Here you can see the Brickyard 400 pin, and then you can see it's got the Indianapolis with the little road course, or the F1 layout that goes through the middle. Obviously, they ran on that layout this year, so we have a little more familiarity. I actually stood in one of them corners. It was kind of cool. But yeah, so that's the 2004 pin. Now we're going to move on to the next season, which is 2006, and that is going to be the first time where our next highest, the next most winningest, that's what I'll say, driver, Jimmie Johnson. So the only one that I think was made that I don't have so far is 2003, 2002. There's a few. But this is Jimmie Johnson's from 2006. He would obviously go on to win the championship, as did Tony Stewart in 2005. So that was kind of neat. But you can see here, if you just look at it, we've got this big black piece of Bear Bond on there. He blew a tire early in the race, and it did poke a hole there, but they did tape it back up. But you can see we've got the vents taped up. We've got the classic Lowe's paint scheme from 06. Honestly, this is one of the most underrated race versions. It's not super hard to find, I don't think, at least compared to his Daytona car. But this car is actually a very, very cool car historically. The fact that Jimmie Johnson went on a Grail hunt this year in 06. He would win, I want to say he would win the Brickyard, the All-Star, the Daytona 500, and the championship. Like, he just won everything. Like, good grief, the guy had to have banked so much money out of it. But yeah, as I said, the big detail was that you can also see kind of the clouded area on the front, kind of dirt, but just it's not super shiny. You see how it's just kind of flat. So that's a very dirty area of the car, but still a very, very solid car. Gen 4 race wins. It's hard to not enjoy those. Which brings us to our next car, the 2007 Brickyard 400 win for Tony Stewart. So this car here, you can see we got a donut mark there, but otherwise it is pretty clean. You look at the front. This is also an Elite, by the way. It looks ARC, but that is a metal grade in there that is painted black. This is our right side there. I think that came after the checkered flag. He made some contact with Kevin Harvick on that, and so that is where that one came from. Before I go too much further, the 2005 one I didn't mention, he did beat Kasey Kahne on a restart. Absolutely broke my heart, so thanks a lot. I'll just leave it there. But here is the 2006 Brickyard 400 pin. So I've got that one for that car. And for 2007, I actually have a pair of pins. And it's interesting because I came across both of them when I was trying to hunt them down. And one of them is a bigger logo, and one of them has the bricks off to the side of it. So there were 2 event pins for the 2007 running of it. But I did actually pick up both of them because they were both available, so why not? Next one on the list, we're going to get to our first of the COTs, and this is the most infamous one, the 2008 running of the Brickyard 400. This was a disaster. This was the tire race. If everyone remembers this, tires were blowing every 10 laps. It was awful. So I do have the pin. You can see it's even an ugly logo, so not to be too mean, but a very ugly looking pin in terms of color, like green, blue. Why? Like, who made that decision? So, ugly logo, ugly race. The only cool part about it is autographed. So, outside of that, the race version's okay. A little mark there. It is one of them with the... This is one of the only, if not the only, car of tomorrow Jimmie Johnson has in this paint scheme. In Elite. So, he actually did have a wall scrape here. You can see it right there on the right side. But, this paint scheme only had ARCs made for the COT for 7 and 8. And, yeah, this is the only Elite in that Car of Tomorrow paint scheme. So, kind of neat. Anyway, we'll move on to 2009, and we'll have another shocker, another Jimmie Johnson. So you can see here, this one is finally in the cool paint scheme. This is the Cobalt car. I think I actually sold one of these just a while back with a pin in it. So I know whoever got it was watching. I can't remember specifically off the top of my head. I just moved through 40 more listings. So, but yeah, so shout your name out down there because I know you got it. But yes, this is a beautiful paint scheme. It is the Cobalt car, the black and the silver. We've got Cobalt, we've got Lowe's. We go over to the right side. Again, not a ton of detail, but I love this paint scheme, man. This paint scheme was great in the Gen 4, Gen 5, it didn't matter. This was just a good-looking paint scheme. And yeah, as I said, I do have the pin for this one. The one that I actually sent doesn't have this trophy and then this backer. It's just the little Brickyard 400 logo, so if I cover it up, it'd be like that. He got that part of the pin, and then I found this bigger pin that they must have had, and so I kept this one with that car. So I do have the 2009 pin as well. Moving on to our next car here, as we get closer to the halfway point, we're looking at the 2011 version. 2010 winner was Jamie McMurray. I did not end up getting that one, but the 2011 was the famous Paul Menard fuel mileage race. You can see we do have an autograph there. It is his first and only career win with Richard Childress Racing. We also have just some good detail, but it is that bright yellow Menards car with all that dirt and rubber on it. Really a very cool car. Just all around, the right side's all dirtied up, just the fuel mileage. It was a very, very cool race from that standpoint. So he did win that race, and it was his first career win. So this is a pretty good grail, and a lot of these are good grails. Like a lot of these are hard to find. These are not the Brickyard 400 cars may not have great detail in terms of raced up versions, but man, they do go for a pretty penny. Same situation on this one. I did get an original pin that was just the logo, and then I found the pin with the trophy behind it. So that's where I started trying to find the ones with trophies because I liked them. All right, so next on our list, we're going to move to 2012, and this will be the final time we will have a Jimmie Johnson car, the fourth and final time. And this is the Lowe's Cobalt car from 2012, which was the black car with the white stripes. Very interesting note, this car is the gloss color. The one he ran to win at Darlington was a matte color. So very interesting. I have two Jimmie Johnson wins from 2012 so far. I was looking to get to Dover someday, but the two I have so far, one is gloss and one is matte. So a very cool little piece of info there. But you do know we do have the metal grade up here. It is an elite. Actually, all these are elite so far, I think. Yeah. Except for the very first one. But we do have the bumper bar and all that underneath. But a very, very good looking car. Let's go to the right side. You can see down here where the tailpipes and stuff are. A little bit of stuff on it, but frankly, it's pretty darn clean. I mean, you look at the car even on the very front of it, very clean car. This is also a very hard one to find. 2012 Brickyard is a tough one. And just to add, I guess, I don't want to say insult to injury, but make it even better, I do have the pin for that one. I actually recently got this one. I'm actually pulling it out of the plastic baggie for the very first time here on off camera. So you guys don't get to see that because I'm struggling, and that's embarrassing. There we go. So here is the 2012 pin, the Crown Royal 400 at the Brickyard. Here you see the trophy, and there you see it says July 25th, 2012. So we do have the 2012 pin to go along with that. In 2013, Ryan Newman would win this race, but they would not make the car because of the Smurfs movie that was on the hood, so they couldn't get the rights to it. Very unfortunate, too, because it was Ryan Newman is also an Indiana native, and unfortunately, he didn't get to have probably the biggest win of his career. Maybe the Daytona 500 would be number one. This would be, one of the top five for sure, and we don't really get to see it because, or at least we don't get a race version of it because of movie rights, But that being said, let's move on to our next one. Our next one is going to jump. They didn't make it in 2013. 2014 is going to be the next one. This is going to be one of, if not the best cars I have in my collection, and I'll explain why. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I'm going to say, this was the race where Kasey Kahne lost on a restart to Jeff Gordon. Thanks a lot, again, Jeff Gordon, for breaking my heart. All day, Kasey Kahne led this race in the Time Warner car. I remember exactly what paint scheme it was. And he had a terrible season up to this point, but was dominating this race. And with a restart with like 15 to go, Jeff Gordon beats him into the corner. He falls back to fourth. And once he's back to fourth, he's stuck in traffic and was not able to get back up there. And Jeff Gordon goes on to win his fifth Brickyard 400. I know you Jeff fans like it. This one hurt because it was Kahne dominated this race. And he dominated in 05 too. That was the second time that he had a race just gut punching. I mean, there was a few of them, but that one was tough. So it is really cool. We do have the Axalta paint scheme. You can see very clean, no confetti or anything like that. The rear has been painted black in that window there. And we're not done yet. I'm going to show you something. But you can see if you look, let's go ahead and see if we can look in this right side here. You might be able to see it already. An Axalta and some Sprint logos in the inside there. That Sprint logo is on the seat. The Axalta logo is on the seat. That Sprint logo is on the crossbar. This is a very, very well done custom. They took it apart and they added that to the inside. I'm trying to see if I can pull the window net down. Yep, there we go. I'm getting closer. Come on, you. Come on, you. I got it. All right, so the window net is coming down. And look at that. Axalta on the side of the seat there. I think the window net's upside down, actually. Yeah, that window net is upside down. Interesting. Anyway, you can see the Axalta on the side of the seat. Detail on the dash. Detail on the seat. Very, very cool. Look at that tucked back up in there. Because, again, it was all custom. This is all custom done. This was not None of that detail is standard, so if you see one online, it is not going to have that seat detail, which I think is very, very cool. I think that would be something if they ever were able to add that kind of detail, or somebody found a way to do it, it would be a very popular move, because I know a lot of people love having accurate race cars, myself included. But yeah, so we do have that mark in there. I got the window net put back. Underneath the car, nothing really changes. Oh, sorry, I just realized you're still on 2 times. Back it up. So yeah, a very, very cool car. I said the customizations on this are absolutely beautiful. Only downside is the braces and tethers have been cut, but the detail is still there, and it has been lowered, so that's the other thing. But it does sit nicely, looks awesome, and probably one of my absolute favorites in the collection because of the significance of it, but also the awesome detail. All right, so next on our list, oh, whoops, my bad. I forgot to show you guys the pin. Of course, we got to do the pin. In case you haven't noticed, I've been on a pin spree. I've been like just finding and acquiring pins from races, raced versions. So there it is, the Crown Royal 400 at the Brickyard. That is July 27th, 2014, and that is the event pin for that one. So that one looks very similar to the 2012, but still a good-looking car, right? Or pin. All right, next one on this list. This is my bread and butter. You already know what it is. If you know what my bread and butter is, it's Kasey Kahne's 2017 final career win at the Brickyard. One of my absolute favorite cars. This was really what kicked off me getting back into diecast collecting. I always had a few cars here or there, you know, a few, not a ton. I didn't really, actually, I had been to races at this point. Joey Logano, you know, I had been to a race in 2012. I had been to a race in 2015. And in 2016. So I'd been to 3 races at this point and never bought the raced version of the car until he won this race. And I was like, oh, I got to get this race version. I was so excited. It was like, it was such a long drought. And that's what really got me hooked back into collecting. You'll remember this as one of my very, very early videos. If you go back and look, back in the old setup, for those of you who remember it. But this is an Elite. This is probably a really expensive car right now, but I am never selling it. We got a donut mark there. We got marks on the right side. An epic, epic race that came down between him, Keselowski, and Johnson, and he ended up getting the win there. This is my favorite. Probably my favorite race version of Kahne's, I'd have to say, or it's definitely one of them. I can't say for sure if it's the number one, but it's definitely up there. It's one of my favorites. So, you know, I'd have to put it number 1, frankly. It's just because it's my guy. Yeah. So anyway, let me show you the pin for that one. I also have acquired that. That is the Brickyard 400, July 23rd, 2017. We had that massive rain delay. Then Busch and Truex take each other out, and then the race just blows up and turns into utter, not even, I don't want to say chaos, but they have a long run coming to the end. Kahne, Johnson, and Keselowski, I think, were the 3 that had stayed out. And Kahne was on pit road when the yellow came out, was able to stay on the lead lap because of it, and cycled to the lead. And yeah, when all that transpired, he was able to notch his final career win. So, sorry, I had to go long on that one. I love that car. The next one is the very next season, 2018, Brad Keselowski. This was when the Denny Hamlin heartbreak started to become a thing. So in this race, Denny Hamlin is really the class of the field, but a late race yellow, Keselowski gets tires, is a faster car, and with coming to the white flag, he gets under Denny Hamlin and clears him coming to the white flag, and then drove off and won it. So Keselowski really, I remember this because this was the second week in a row. You can see he had 2 winner stickers. But Darlington, Larson was the best car. Late race yellow came out, and he got there through pit strategy, won that race. The same thing happened in this race. He was good, but he wasn't the fastest car. Pit strategy comes out. He ends up winning this race again, and he got back-to-back grails because of well-timed cautions. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. You know, but yeah, so this is where the Denny Hamlin heartbreak starts. It ain't over yet. But yeah, you can see the only downside to this car is you can see it's kind of yellowed on the sides. It was a major clear coat issue from Lionel, and it was really unfortunate. You can see on the edges it's kind of yellowed and on the hood, but it's not terrible, but it's unfortunate that the issue ever existed in the first place. And the 2018 pin, while we're at it, you can hear that, crinkly, crinkly. That means I still haven't pulled this one out of its bag yet, so we're going to take a look at this one too. So here we go. This is the Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard. They have sponsored, I believe, a couple of races there now. So you can see we do have the pin with the trophy in the background. Again, I love those. Those pins are cool. And our very last one is going to be the most recent and the final to this date Brickyard 400 car. This is Kevin Harvick's Busch Light car, and he He won in 2019, and the car was very bland and basic. It was the Mobile One car. It's an okay car, but I had to get this one because of the looks of it. I just thought it looked amazing. Obviously, Harvick is on a streak of just winning in different paint schemes, so it is the 4th of July. This is when they moved it for that 1 year to July 4th weekend, and he was able to win in this very, very patriotic-looking car, and overall, not a lot of race detail to it, just really the paint scheme itself is what makes this car cool. But yeah, outside of that, the race detail on this thing is little to none. But what are we going to say? It is a Brickyard 400 car, you know? So, yeah. And here's the pin for that one. This is actually one of the cooler pins. Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard. And then powered by Florida Georgia Line. But you can see it is much... They don't have the trophy in the background anymore. They have this red, white, and blue going with it, as it was on the 4th of July. So a very unique pin there. And the logo is pretty cool as well. So that, everybody, is my entire Brickyard 400 win collection. I have a grand total of 13 cars. Not quite 13 drivers are represented, I don't believe. But you can see them here. Let me go ahead and pop you guys off of the tripod so you guys can see. There we see them. There is all of the cars there, lined up all the way across. So overall, I suppose what I should do, I should probably put the pins out in front of them. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that for the thumbnail. So the pins aren't out in front of them at the moment. I'll get those out in front. But other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed the Sunday special edition of this Brickyard 400 race win, collection. I hope this race comes back. I understand the road course was kind of a better show, maybe, but the fact is the prestige of Indianapolis, NASCAR has got to maintain that prestige. I mean, running the oval is huge, and the fans showed in terms of viewership how much the oval means. Even if it's boring, it's important. And I think that Indy needs to get rid of stage racing, and we need to have a strategy race again, because that's what Indy is best at. That's my personal opinion. I want the oval back, and I want stages removed, because it is a grail race, and I think that's how grail races should be run. That's my personal opinion, but we can argue about it in the comments below. So other than that, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Race Craze, and we'll see you in the next diecast review.